As Aaron Milton, accompanied by his parents, Phil and Susan, traverse gradually through the lively campus, Aaron's innate creativity is on display in his art as he scribbles a sketch on the back of his orientation day folder. He depicts a man bound by a ball and chain and being strangled by it, their bodies twisting together, reflecting the figurative weight of expectations and social interpretation in quiet, visual interplay with his corresponding internal struggle and his passion for the art that clashes with the scientific and mathematical passages laid out before him. Arriving at his dormitories, the day's excitement is palpable, as is the pride from Susan, Aaron's mother. But this takes on a different character as she becomes controlling over excitement, presenting Aaron with a shadow box containing a framed certificate of merit alongside his old scout scarf and badges, physical representations of his past achievements, and a source of Aaron's hesitancy and apprehension as they betray Pandora's box of her expectations of pride in searing a child, loath to display them prominently and define himself so narrowly. The room's welcome is disrupted by the entrance of Aaron's new roommate, Bill, who arrives inside with Fiona, his girlfriend. A round of introductions rolls out as Aaron takes in each of their various sequestered, internalized nationalities. In the back, Jordan to Aaron's military, James from Boston, whose parents stay behind him, visibly abuzz with his independent future. As he takes it in, Phil, his father, pulls Aaron aside and cryptically admonishes him not to make the same mistake. He gives him an envelope, the contents of which remain hidden, adding a rare flair to Aaron's college initiation. As his father pulls back from the car into the street, leaving his son to make the journey into his next chapter on his own, the air rings with unspoken questions and the anticipation of the unknown. After the final goodbyes as his parents leave and Aaron begins to settle into his new environment, Bill shares a particularly salient piece of college wisdom, the doorknob rule, a practical method for maintaining privacy within the confines of shared living quarters. Aaron looks on from beneath the visor of his scout's hat, and while the idea is clearly novel to him, his response reflects a combination of humor and ingenuity that may serve him well in the many unexplored social landscapes that await him. Finally alone in the quiet of his dorm room, Aaron opens the letter from his father, Phil, that was given to him amid the emotional tide of goodbyes and new beginnings. Initially, the letter is exactly what Aaron expects, filled with the encouraging words of a proud father, as well as gentle wisdom about settling in and meeting the very specific and very different challenges of life in college. As he continues, though, Aaron discovers an unexpected passage, a section he couldn't have anticipated, explicit advice on matters of how to give a woman physical pleasure. The sudden about-face in the missive catches Aaron completely off guard, and although he is very quirky out of sight of the camera, the words he can be heard saying as soon as his face is hidden make it clear that the raw language before him has sparked an immediate, visceral reaction of distaste so severe he can't bring himself to even continue to read it. As he makes his way across the sprawling campus, Aaron's path takes an unexpected turn as he crosses that of Darcy, a fellow dorm resident, seemingly unsure of his way around the labyrinthian university as Aaron himself. It's just a brief encounter, two strangers sharing a moment of disorientation, but in that moment, Aaron finds the connection he's been looking for, a sense of camaraderie to grasp in the face of the overwhelming newness of college life. It's a small connection, to be sure, but it's the kind of passing friendship of which the college experience is made. In his quest for an academic experience that's at least somewhat engaging, Aaron has somehow found himself in the classroom of Professor Van Auken at an advanced design course. Van Auken cuts an impressive figure, part authority figure, and part beacon of innovation. He poses a tantalizingly formidable challenge to his students to design and build a mechanism capable of walking on water. It's an assignment that pushes the boundaries of traditional engineering, but Aaron is clearly paying his instructor little heed. His mind is elsewhere, the practicalities of engineering drowned out by whimsical visions of far-off realms. His notebook brims with images of Jesus walking serenely across shark-infested waters, the product of a surfeit of artistic imagination, squashed like so much styrofoam beneath the steel-toed boot of a reluctantly trudging engineer. The most intriguing problem Aaron encounters is his own. Though surrounded by future engineers, his longing for creative expression leads him, quite by chance, to drawing class. Easels, charcoals, and the hushed concentration of his fellow students envelop him, but not nearly as quickly as the drawing subject. Her name is Linda, and her presence is commanding and enigmatic, as to seize the soul of the nude before them. Aaron's effort stands in sharp contrast to theirs, less a representation of the model than a reflection of his own, in which Linda becomes so visibly intrigued as to abruptly take her leave. That coffee which she invites him to serves as the beginning of a progressively fascinating connection, an ever-deepening conversation over steaming mugs, throughout which their conversation alternates between art, life, and the sometimes indistinguishable manner in which one leads to the other, guiding further by the subtlety revealed maturity and talent that Aaron ultimately recognizes as leaving him both captivated and compelled, even as she, nevertheless, seems to hold back almost compulsively over the deeper reasons that propelled her to come back to their particular university. This particular moment, asking him, as it does, to unveil a mystery so much more layered than those upon his nearly complete page. Another step into Linda's personal world occurs when Aaron visits her apartment for dinner. Her forthright daughter Beth enters the mix, and in this intimate setting, Linda's existence fast becomes more than her gung-ho press agent act. She's really got a flair for truly living. A dorm bash with a Hawaiian theme follows as a means for Bill to further intertwine the lives of Aaron and Darcy. Aaron tries to mesh, but mayhem ensues when Bill can't help but make a comment at just the wrong moment. This leads to an unruly but somehow bonding escape. The narrative thickens with the arrival of Wes, Linda's boyfriend, whose presence sparks tangible tension that escalates dramatically after Beth's mischievous prank provokes an explosive confrontation. The incident subsequently leads to a late-night impromptu adventure for Aaron and a peculiar errand for eclairs and cigarettes. Their return marks the apex of Linda and Wes's dispute, offering a glimpse into the intricate dynamics of Linda's home life and the shifting interplay between relationships and the internal battles that Aaron encounters. Aaron's personal journal becomes increasingly entwined with the lives of Linda and her daughter Beth, as he attempts to find his way through burgeoning connections that divide traditional norms and expectations. The dynamics within Linda's home have become a refuge for Aaron, providing a respite from the disillusionment he feels within the world of mainstream engineering. In this space, he finds a sense of deep-seated belonging and connection that is absent from his academic trajectories and the expectations of his home life. His choice to skip class solidifies his transition, as it serves as an emblem of his disengagement from the path laid out before him, based on his academic achievements and familial obligations, drawing him closer to Linda's world and a sense of resonance with his own aspirations and values. This journey from friendship and mutual respect to deep and emotional closeness is a dramatic transformation of the relationship between Aaron and Linda, which is why it is no small thing when Linda shares with Aaron, in a moment that rips through all her typical bluster and bravado, her deepest fears and dreams. It is a moment during which she makes Aaron realize just how deeply in love with her he really is, and a moment when he finally manages to shed the emotional walls he has built up so high around himself. This moment is one based on Linda's perseverance, openness, vulnerability, and fortitude, as she shares her own uncertainties and dreams with the man she has come to love. It is a pivotal moment where Aaron discovers there is no third option available, and the pair cement an environment of mutual understanding and support for one another. As insistent as Linda is that she has no feelings for Aaron, their meaningful conversation is cut short when Aaron leans in to kiss her. She hesitates, and he soon realizes how serious she has become, so he pulls back. She tells him not to ruin the moment, and he kisses her a second time. She hesitates again before running away, telling him to stop. "Please stop," she pleads, and he kisses her again. "Stop," she stammers, horrified, and pushes him away, yelling at him to get out. Her absence affords the disintegration of Beth's own control and propriety. As she discovers Aaron emerging from Linda's room, she storms off before Beth melts down and storms after her. Disgusted and feeling betrayed, Beth devises the collective pain of having her own insecurities, betrayals, and the strain on the familial bond caused by Linda's intrusion upon her. Aaron is caught off guard and attempts to reconcile his conflicting feelings for Linda and his growing concern for Beth. Aaron's love for art is reflected in his reluctant decision to choose his drawing class over a more challenging advanced engineering class, where Linda is. His difficulty hits a high note when he cannot solve a problem on the board in front of his class, despite Professor Auken's encouragement. The moment comes at the perfect time to show Aaron's academic struggles and set up the effort he'll make to figure out how to balance his artistic leanings with the harshness of engineering. Aaron's moment of crashing in the library while studying leads to a significant plot transition where Darcy wakes him up and confronts him about the rumblings that he's linked to a married mother with kids. Aaron's explanation that Linda is still single and only has one daughter spells out some inside looks at the kind of rumblings and misunderstandings happening in their core social group. After falling asleep in the library while studying and being woken up by Darcy, he then confronts Aaron about the rumblings that he's linked to a woman married with children. Aaron clarifies that Linda is still single and only has one daughter. As the evening progresses, Aaron and Darcy share a kiss and a moment of intimacy. This is cut short when Aaron is left awkwardly staring and stops when he sees Darcy has body hair, leading Aaron to chase Darcy half naked through the corridor. Aaron comes back to find Beth waiting there for him, who confronts him about the dynamic with her mother. Aaron's interaction with Beth takes a turn when she confesses her feelings for him, and Aaron shuts her down. But Bill's untimely entrance, asking about Aaron's relationship with Linda, interrupts it. Aaron, frustrated at this point, drops Beth home. He comes back to find the room occupied again with Bill's adventurers. He waltzes in and frustratingly tells Bill how he can't even sleep in his own bed due to the room being constantly locked. Rebelling against that, he burns the scout scarf, which triggers the fire alarm. While waiting outside, Aaron confesses to Bill about his love for Linda and the fact that she is dating a cop. Linda is seen struggling through her English class, which Aaron is attending to. Then, an essay is marked D for lacking analysis and depth. Linda asks for a second chance, but is denied, leading to her confiding in Aaron about how she doesn't belong here. Aaron offers help. The next day, Aaron goes to apologize to an infuriated Beth. He follows her during this confrontation to the store, where Ray hands Beth an illegal substance. Aaron warns her, but she counters with how she's always taking care of her mother, after which Aaron advises her to go to her grandma's, which she declines due to her being too controlling. They go back to Beth's house, and they find Linda with a ring with Wes there, leading Beth to go off on a frenzy against it. Wes reprimands her for disrespecting Linda, to which she says he'll never be a part of their family, leading him to curse and consequently trigger her to the extent that she starts shouting. Meanwhile, Linda is telling Aaron that she hasn't said yes to marrying Wes. Hearing the shouting, Linda and Aaron head over to de-escalate the situation, which leads to a brawl that results in Wes hitting Linda. Linda throws the ring at him and asks him to leave. While Linda is dropping Aaron back to his place with Beth in the back, Wes follows them in his police car, leading Linda to speed up to avoid him, when suddenly, a dog appears, causing Linda to lose control of her car and crash. Aaron and Beth get minor bruises, while Linda has a serious injury. Aaron stays with Beth at her house, and when he goes to console a crying Beth, they kiss, but Aaron stops. Freshman Aaron finally cultivates a device to walk on water, and hoping to lift Linda, who's been in the grips of grieving a recent tragedy, he surprises her with balloons. The gesture leads to an inflection point where Linda begins to break free of her sorrow. Meanwhile, Professor Auken hands Aaron's test adorned with doodles, which had disappointingly earned him a D grade, acknowledging the art that surrounded his failure in mathematical derivation. His parents' car means an impending interrogation from his mother about just who Linda is following an accident in the car, and Aaron insists firmly that she's a friend. This prompts an invitation for his parents to meet her. While the dinner serves as an excuse to examine just how serious of an artist they think she is, Aaron's father doesn't hide his admiration for her work. another Democrat to the conversations about Aaron's, but also Stephen Gilmer's life, music, and life in the military. However, Susan corners Linda in the kitchen, accurately pinning her for exploiting Aaron's innocence. A claim Linda fights back against strongly. Susan refuses to join her in releasing the tension with a dance, the only move Aaron's ever used to calm house fights, leaving the air electric. That is, until Wes, Linda's ex, a cop in plain clothes, whose arrival causes first confusion, but is quickly cleared up by Aaron. Tensions escalate when Susan sees Wes trying to make up with Linda, and Susan demands that Linda keep away from Aaron. Linda's response, a passionate kiss, leaves everyone stunned, setting off a heated confrontation between Susan and Linda that ends with Susan slapping Linda. Aaron's decision to stay with Linda rather than go with his mother both underlines the family breach and draws support from Aaron's father, Phil. Beth's concern hints at her own uncertainties, further complicated by a sudden misunderstanding. Aaron's return to their dorm interrupts a poignant moment between him and his roommate Bill, who probes Aaron about his romantic and academic challenges, racked by the loss of the phone that connects him to the school's scholarship program and to their future. Returning to class, Aaron revises his project to accommodate his professor's recommendations for a lighter load for himself, showing he may have some real engineering talent. Answering Linda's call of distress about her missing daughter, Aaron enlists Wes for the rescue, and a moment of reconciliation with his mother as he debuts a water-walking device at a school charity event, showcasing his inventive spirit. Hearing about Linda and Beth moving is bittersweet because part of us knows we're moving on too. Aaron accepts his engineering path as symbolized by his engagement with Darcy, and showing a real interest in exploring new frontiers means he is starting anew on his journey.